All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's Health Action Council webinar, Step It Up Challenge, How-To Webinar, Team Lead Kickoff. My name is Rick Westfall. I'm the Director of Education here at Health Action Council. And today we're joined by Bryce Rausch, National Sales Director for Fitbit. Today, Bryce is going to talk about our 2-week Step It Up Challenge beginning soon, Monday, June 15th, where teams compete for the highest number of average steps, and the winning team will receive a healthy lunch valued at up to $100. In addition, a donation of $500 will be made to either a school, garden project, or local Ronald McDonald House in the winning team's name. And just FYI, the lunch is valued at $500 as well, not $100. Before I turn it over to Bryce, I want to remind everybody that if you have any questions, to please use the chat box in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. I'll collect the questions throughout Bryce's presentation, and we'll present them to him at the end to get everything squared away. If you have questions after the fact, please just email me, rwestfall@healthactioncouncil.org, and we'll answer anything you need. With that, Bryce, I won't hold you up. Please tell everybody how they can get registered and put a team together for our June Step It Up Challenge.
All right, will do. Good morning, everybody. So for those that are unfamiliar with Fitbit, which I know some of you that are joining may not have participated in this challenge in the past, so welcome. Fitbit, we've been around for 12 years. We're one of the worldwide leaders in activity trackers, smartwatches, but we actually have really, even going back probably 10 years, have been in the health, wellness, and benefits space. We're proud of that we're serving over 1,600 enterprise customers worldwide. Fitbit takes a holistic approach to our solutions. We'll primarily be talking about our wearables plus our challenge platform, but we may also talk about Fitbit Premium. Stay to the end to find out what that means. And we're also serving our clients by providing human health coaching as well to try to curb negative health trends and try to motivate healthier behaviors moving forward. So let's talk about the challenge. 5 major points that we're going to try to cover today, talking about submitting your team name, joining and then inviting your team, where to do that, how you can participate without a Fitbit in the challenge. Yes, you can do that. We'll talk a few tips and best practices, particularly around team design, and then I'll share, if you have an issue, where you can go and get support, and some key dates to keep in mind for this challenge. It is a team-based step challenge versus an individual challenge. So we will be looking at the average team steps per day. All right, so what does that mean? If you have 5 people and they all walked, X amount of steps during a particular day, and we'll just, for simplicity's sake, say it's a 2-day challenge, then we would look at those 5-person team's average steps for that one day, and then we would look at those same 5 people's average steps for day 2. Then we take day 1 plus day 2 equals final score. So that is how it works. Hopefully that makes sense. One question we always get, hey, what if a team member, breaks their ankle and they need to drop out of the challenge? That is completely all right. It will still count the days that they participated with their Fitbit. But then after that, they can go and they can actually leave the challenge. So, you don't have a bum leg ruining your team average. So just kick them out of there. And then it'll adjust that average moving forward, removing that person. It is a total of 2 weeks that we'll be doing the challenge, and keep your eyes open for pop-up challenges. This is particularly important for those that are the all-star on an otherwise non-all-star team, because let's face it, sometimes it's just going to happen. You're looking around, you're like, I'm significantly more motivated than everybody around me. Hey, that's fine. We're all moving together, and hopefully you'll be able to be that light shining on others, motivating them to move more. But pop-up challenges is your opportunity to potentially win some prizes throughout the challenge that otherwise don't have anything to do with what the rest of your team is doing. And we've had some fun ones over the years of doing the challenges, so stay tuned for that. All right. So step one, you gotta join, right? So if you go to the Health Action Council website, you're going to be able to find the Step It Up Challenge information. It actually looks exactly like the screenshot that I've included over on the right-hand side. Here we included I have some of the important dates there. You can see what the prize is, a little chat about previous challenges. And on the right-hand side, you can see, oh boy, looks like Wayne Enterprises is joining the challenge. For those that didn't get my lame joke, I am a dad, so dad jokes are kind of my thing. That's Batman. Bruce Wayne is Batman. Spoiler alert. So this is exactly where you would go to submit your team if you would like to participate and you haven't done the challenge before. If your question is, hey, wait a minute, I did the last challenge. Do I have to do this again? The answer is no. We already got you. So you just have to go, and if you left that team, you can easily rejoin using the same way that you did the first time. Otherwise, if you didn't leave, you're already rocking. You're ready to roll. Bruce Wayne here had not. And so by going to the Step It Up site, Bruce is the team lead. So we only need one person to submit as a team lead, the request for that team to be created. We don't need everybody on your team to do it. And yeah, you just fill out a few fields, click submit, and you're good to go. If you have any questions about it, you can always reach out to me, and I'll include some information from the good folks at the Health Action Council as well who can help. Now, do not take submitting your team lightly. The team name is very important. Puns are very welcome, and we've had some very, very creative teams names in the past. So the pressure is on. Find your best copywriter in your office and see how clever you can get. As I already said, if you participated earlier, you're good to go. Your team should already be there. And please submit your team names by June 5th. So you have a few weeks, but don't delay. It only takes a few seconds, but the last thing you want is for it to all of a sudden get to the bottom of your to-do list and then you forgot, and then you're going to miss out on all the fun. All right. So let's say that your team is created, or if you're attending and you know that your company participated earlier this year, you didn't have a chance to join, and now you want to join with a vengeance. You have that COVID-15 that you're looking to work off of. There, you will be able to join if it's the first time, or even if your team already existed. And also, you can if you're the team lead, pass this information along to your colleagues. Everyone can join the program by going to the exact same site, so fitbit.com/care/go, and there is a unique code just for this program, 669508. When you go to that website, all you have to do is input that code, and you'll be able to join the Health Action Council Step It Up Challenge. It's that easy. And for those that have participated in the past, it hasn't always been that easy. Technology has come a long way in 1 year. So very excited about the new onboarding experience. Little cheat, if you go to fitbit.com/care/go and then you input that 669508 in your URL bar and press enter, it'll be as if you already entered it into this page. Think of all the seconds you're saving your life that you can dedicate to other things. So invite your team using this code, and they'll be able to go and join you. But please make sure that we have confirm or go and submit your team name before inviting your colleagues to join, because we have to create that team. That it's not an automatic process. When you submit your team name through that website, that goes to us, and then we go and create that team. We are lightning fast, so it's not going to take a very long time, but just note, you don't want to really point your employees to go and join if that team isn't there, because you're going to click that drop-down box and scroll and scroll and scroll, and you're not going to find yourself until we've added you. So this is what the onboarding experience looks like for both yourself and your colleagues. You will be able to go to that URL, and then it's basically going to walk you through the program step by step. You'll be able to join. That fourth phone image is going to show you how you'll submit your first and last name, and then there's a drop down where it says department. Those are going to be the Health Action Council team names. That's when you'll find your team, and that's from there. You can proceed to the Fitbit app. And there is nothing else you have to do, because when you are invited to a challenge, you're going to get a notification in your email. You're going to get a pop-up on your phone inviting you to participate in that challenge or opt out. So you don't have to proactively do anything to participate in the challenge. We've made it super easy for you. All right. Hey, Bryce, I want to participate, but I don't have a Fitbit, and I refuse to get a Fitbit. I love your challenge platform. I hate your trackers. Well, first of all, that's kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. Second, it's really easy to participate. You do not have to have a Fitbit device to participate. And this goes for you team leads as well as all of your colleagues. In fact, American Greetings last year participated, and they had well over 50 participants on their team, which was amazing. And many of them were not using a Fitbit device to be able to participate, and they had a fantastic experience. So you have two options. Option one is you can use Mobile Track. So essentially what you'll do, and you can see that the step-by-step guides are right here, and you can also find these guides at the Health Action Council website. But you download the Fitbit app, and then I think we've actually recently updated this, but if we're able to work with your phone, we don't work with every phone to be able to use Mobile Track, but what we can actually do is pull the steps from the processor that's built into your phone. Fun fact, phones, both Android, Windows, iPhones alike, have an accelerometer built into them. That's one of the ways that they know that when you turn your screen horizontal versus vertical, that the screen automatically changes. It's an accelerometer that's telling that phone to do that. That happens to be the same sensor that companies like Fitbit use to track steps. And its location is within the processor of a lot of these smartphones. We're actually able to pull those steps right into your Fitbit experience. So automatically, in many cases, it's just going to, if you say you don't have a device while you're setting up your Fitbit app, it'll automatically add Mobile Track. Super simple. And then it's going to automatically be logging your steps into your Fitbit account. So you join that program, the Health Action Council program, and it means that you don't have to do any manual work. It does mean that you'll have to have your phone with you while you're moving around for it to register those steps, but who doesn't have their phone with them all the time anyway? If you, let's say you don't, maybe you have a flip phone, you're still rocking that Razor from 10 years ago, that's fine. You can also still participate. It's going to take a little bit more work, but you can manually log your exercises in the Fitbit app, or you can go into the Fitbit dashboard. So Fitbit.com, you'll log in with your regular Fitbit credentials, and there's a log tab. You go to log activities. You could even input your specific number of steps if you knew how many steps that you have. So there's a lot of different ways that you can go and log. I will say, if you can use Mobile Track, if you're not going to have a Fitbit device, that's the recommendation versus manually logging. Because let's be honest, the more people that are manually logging, the more people that are going to be crying to me saying, there is no way that Debbie had 60,000 steps yesterday. And she probably didn't. All right, some best practices and helpful hints. So I know I just bragged about American Greetings having 50 team members. That was probably a bit large. I think it's a little bit of a better user experience if you're somewhere in that 5 to 15 range. I think it's also better to at least have 5. If you have fewer than 5, it can, let's say you have like your 2 marathon runners, they're both on the same team. That's no fun for everybody else. So 5 to 15 is kind of the sweet spot. And from a strategic standpoint, having 50 people on your team, if you really wanted to hustle and you wanted to go and snatch victory away from the leaders on the last couple days, that you got 50 people that are all contributing to your average, oh boy, is that a coordinated effort. And so, 10, 15 people is a little bit more doable. At least, somebody's elite performance shines through a little bit and you see a little bit of an impact. So that's why that's recommended. If your company is just hyper enthusiastic and wanting to participate and they happen to have 50 people, then I would recommend, we have no problem creating multiple teams for a company. No big deal to us, as long as it's not a big deal to you. One thing to kind of keep in the back of your mind is that when we do challenges, and this isn't just true of the Health Action Council, but challenges really, over the last 10 years that we've been hosting this challenge platform for employers, people tend to take about 20 or so % more steps than they otherwise would based off of their baseline. So people are motivated by challenges and they are more physically active. From doing this challenge the last few years with the Health Action Council, we tend to see the average step of at least the top half of the leaderboard. The average steps is between like 10 and 12. I would say the very top of the leaderboard might be closer to like 18 to 20,000 steps. But those people are maniacs. And so if you don't think you can get there, just remember what I said about those pop-up challenges. And also if your activity tracking, if you're tracking kind of low on steps, you may want to consider moving your Fitbit location. What I mean by that is sometimes people, like as an example, I got a 10-month-old, a 3.5-year-old, a 5.5-year-old. I am pushing a stroller almost at all times. And I don't get a lot of steps for pushing a stroller. It's because there's just not enough of movement for the Fitbit to say, oh, you know what, I bet they're probably pushing a stroller right now, versus playing a video game or something. However, if you take it off your wrist, maybe pop it in your pocket, or even around your shoelaces, then it's a better chance that you'll get full credit. So try to troubleshoot, kind of think through. Just remember, it's just kind of like a little computer on your wrist, and it only has so much to kind of go off of. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn close to perfect. And other tip, try to move together, 6 feet apart though. All right. Some key dates to keep in mind. June 5th, that's when we want all of the teams. If you're going to have a team, try to have that into us as soon as possible. Don't wait till June 4th to do it, because the sooner you can submit that team, the sooner or the more time you have for your colleagues to be able to go into the program and find your team name under that dropdown. June 12th, that is the close of individual registration. So we want them to try to get in there as quickly as possible. Let's see. Actually, I feel like that is supposed to say June 15th, not June 28th, because it is a 2-week challenge. But that's, that is the typo of the Step It Up Challenge dates. And then June 30th is when the awards are announced. We always like to give it 2 days after the conclusion of a challenge before announcing any awards, because not everybody syncs right away. In fact, here's another kind of evil tip. Some people even turn their Bluetooth off of their device while they're participating. So they're still logging all of these steps, and then they turn that bad boy on during the last day of the challenge. And all of a sudden now they have all this step data going back to the last couple of weeks. It's a dirty trick. It's somewhat effective if like they really are the ringer of the team. But that does mean that just because you're at the top of the leaderboard come June 28th, you got to remember, those steps are going to be trickling in from other teams as they sync their devices. All right, support. If you have any questions while you're trying to set up your team, like, hey, did it work? Or I changed my mind, I want to change my team name, or even, hey, we participated earlier this year. We thought we had a really clever name. We thought of a more clever name because of quarantine. All we were doing was thinking about better team names, and we came up with one. You can either reach out to myself, or you can reach out to Katie Peterson from the Health Action Council to have that troubleshooted. If you have any questions about the challenge as it's going on, hey, this data doesn't look right, let us know, and we will look into it. Also, for those participating, if you have kind of like a technical issue, like it feels like there's a bug or something's broken, either with your device or with the challenge platform, you can certainly let us know, or over in the kind of upper left column, you can see CW support at Fitbit, and then there's 1-800 number, or you can get support online as well. And Oprah moment, one more thing. All right, so we know that we are just like living in unprecedented times. I'm sure at this point, COVID-19 or pandemic are on everybody's buzzword bingo cards. So I apologize for that, but also it really is all consuming right now. I don't know if there's a conversation I have with my clients that we aren't talking about something COVID related, whether it's their return to work strategies, or, hey, our office gym is closed and we, really wanted to be able to provide that benefit. And, so they're starting to look at some Fitbit tools to try to help them out. it really makes its way into every conversation. So I just wanted to share a little bit of what Fitbit's doing in the COVID space to try to support, folks as they're returning to work, as well as just individuals. There's some free resources available as well. So recently we've added a COVID tab. So even if you don't have a Fitbit device, the Fitbit app is free to download. You'll need the Fitbit app to participate in this challenge. And along the right-hand side, you can now see the COVID-19 tab. And within there's a ton of free resources that all live within there. A lot of great information from the CDC and the World Health Organization if anybody wants to learn more about COVID-19. But there's also, I think there's like 20 different mindfulness and meditation programs that we have made available for free for people. There's, I think, 25 different free workouts, particularly for those that are trying to work out from home. That we've made available. You can also engage with things like challenges using mobile track. And so there's a lot of free resources. This is kind of a quick shortcut to try to find many of those. So there's a lot of stuff within the COVID tab, and there's more that's coming in the coming weeks that's specifically designed to help employers safely bring their employees back to work. That's kind of related to that. But we also released a free new clock face. So it's cleaning cues. It's actually, if you've had a Fitbit for a while, and you're already aware of reminders to move. It's like reminders to move, but for washing your hands. How brilliant is that? My kids need that because they're dirty and they don't ever wash their hands unless we nag at them. So I just need to get them the Fitbit. Big announcement. So we have been flooded at Fitbit with clients reaching out, wanting to learn more about our challenges and Fitbit Premium for some of the reasons that I already shared. Hey, like our gym reimbursement isn't really that useful if all the gyms are closed. So trying to explore how people can not just focus on their physical health, but also their mental health, their sleep, things like that, while, even during times of COVID-19. And so kind of special offer for everybody that joins the Health Action Council program. Not only will you be able to participate in the challenges, but we're also making Fitbit Premium available as you onboard and join the program. So, dozens, maybe even hundreds of different workouts on demand are available. There's a number of different guided programs. It's everything from kicking the salt or the sugar to there's a guided program that's coming out very shortly that's all around symptom tracking and temperature logging for COVID-19, which is a tool we're using for return to work, just with some more enterprise tools behind it. But you could leverage that, as well as programs like Couch to 5K. So multi-week programs that are smart and kind of adjust as you use them. Deeper insights around your health and advanced sleep tools all kind of make up a big part of Fitbit Premium. There's just a little bit more of an explainer of some of the guided programs. Feel free to check them out. And there's also a whole variety of challenges and adventures that you can participate that are, definitely complementary to the team-based challenge that we're going to do, that we'll be doing with the Health Action Council. And then finally, mindfulness. So, a lot of people are super stressed right now. I don't think that stress and mindfulness for employees has ever been higher in a priority list for employers and HR benefit leaders. And so we have a whole bunch of different programs all focused on just how people can de-stress. So while you're participating, in the Health Action Council challenge, feel free to check out, some of what's available through Fitbit Premium, and hopefully it'll be useful for both you and your colleagues that participate as well. And as always, while we're doing these, feel free to reach out to myself if this encourages you to maybe make Fitbits available. There's some special pricing available because of the relationship with Health Action Council. So be happy to share more and can kind of go over what devices are available and for what type of pricing during the challenge. If you have any specific questions around Fitbit, we've already talked how you can reach out to both Katie and myself. This is my information here on the screen. and really looking forward to the next Step It Up Challenge with everybody.
All right, thanks, Bryce. I have a quick question for you. I discovered somewhat of a large discrepancy in my Fitbit. I went for a run that I mapped on Google Maps that was like 8 miles. And then, I synced it up to my Fitbit up to my Fitbit app. And then my Fitbit said I ran like 10 miles in this loop. And so I wasn't sure. Yeah. So I got in my car and then I drove the loop. Then my odometer also said, yes, 8 miles. Like what's going on there? What would be the reason for such a huge discrepancy?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I guess there's 2 parts. Well, maybe 3 parts. There's one of kind of thinking of the mechanics of a Fitbit, so how it may get fooled. But then there's 2 ways that you can, 2 settings that you can adjust potentially that will help make it more accurate in the future. So, number one, when you first set up your Fitbit, it's going to ask you just a handful of questions, one being your height. And so kind of the oversimplified formula that we use to, translate movements into how far a run might have been is the kind of standard gait for someone of your height and your gender, and then the vigorousness and the duration of when we could tell that you were moving consistently. And so that is like the oversimplified formula. And the reality is maybe your gait is longer. I mean, that would be my guess. My guess is that maybe you have a slightly longer gait than what we typically would see for someone of your height. Maybe you were going downhill, which is something that also can help somebody have a longer stride while they're running, and that would have an impact as well. And there might also be times where, maybe if it was a longer run, I know I've run a few marathons, and there are times when my shoulders might kind of start aching, or my arms kind of need a break from pumping. And so maybe I'm not moving, but I'm purposely kind of keeping them a little still while I'm still running. And that can somewhat trick the Fitbit device as well, because it might think that you've now started almost walking, because it's not moving as vigorously side to side and up and down like you normally would when you run. So there's 2 potential tricks that you can do that could make it more accurate. By far, the most accurate option is enabling GPS. So there are some devices that have GPS already built into the Fitbit device. Others can borrow the GPS signal from your smartphone. If you were to activate that and it was activated the entire time during your run, I would imagine it's going to be exactly the same as your odometer or what you would find in Google Maps. And I think just about all of our Fitbit devices now allow you to kind of pair it. It does mean that you have to have your smartphone with you if the GPS signal isn't built in to the device, but hopefully if you're somebody who runs with your phone, you could use that. If that isn't an option for you, then the other thing you can do is if you go into your settings, so you go to Fitbit.com, you go within your profile settings, you can actually manually adjust your stride length. So maybe next time you go running, you could actually measure your stride length, go into the Fitbit app and update your stride length right in there, and it's going to make it more accurate moving forward.
Awesome, man. Thanks. I'll give that a shot. I'm scheduled for 11 in the morning, so we'll see how that goes.
All right.
So Bryce, thank you again. I have 2 other announcements because we don't have any other questions. The first is that Dana Jones is the winner today for participating in this webinar. She will receive 2 Fitbit devices. So be on the lookout for Katie Peterson. I suspect she'll be reaching out to you. And also, I want to remind everybody that any new team who registers by the end of May will be entered into a drawing for 5 Fitbit devices. So, if American Greetings had so many people that didn't have a Fitbit in the past, this could be their big chance if they register a new team. And with that, with no other questions from the gallery, I will once again say, Bryce, thank you. It's a great relationship we have with you and with Fitbit. I want to remind everybody on the call that I will post this webinar and Bryce's slides on our website by the end of day tomorrow. And just remind you again, if you have any questions about anything with the recording, you can reach out to me, Rick Westfall. You can reach out to Katie Peterson or Bryce at Fitbit if you have any questions about the Step It Up Challenge that you're finding difficult to solve. So with that, everyone, I will bid you adieu. I hope you have a great day and look forward to the new challenge. Take care, everybody.